Hello again, everybody. It's Harry Boxer, the Technical Trader. It is Monday night, June the 6th, and market's looking pretty tough. Keeps coming down, and as a result, as promised last night, I'm going to do the charts of the day video featuring the box of shorts today. Now, starting off with Citigroup, as you know, I've been negative on the stock since it was in the 43, 44 zone. It's come straight down over the last 3-4 weeks, and today it broke another $1.79 to close just around 38. And as you can see, nice move has already been in it from that 45 to 38 zone, and I'm looking for a quick move towards 36 and a half in the next couple of days. If it breaks down in that area, it wouldn't shock me to see this in the low 30s at some point, but one step at a time. Cree, you can see from the pattern, nice downtrends in force. The stock tried to consolidate in the zone, made a nominal move above the moving average, tagged the parallel channel top, and then rolled over. If it breaks down below, say 30, I think around 39, this thing could come down quickly towards the 35 range. So stay tuned on Cree. OSK, Oshkosh, in a very negative looking pattern. Distinct breakdown, a little wedge formed in here. If you recall, we highlighted this about a month ago around the 30, 31 zone, and it's come down to 26. Looks like at least 24 and a half should be doable to retest the August lows from last year. Beyond that, there is a secondary line of support near this huge gap down around 17 and a half, and wouldn't shock me to see that as well. USANA, USANA, very bad breakdown here. Wedge formed. It did have a minor breakout that ran back to resistance, filled the gap, then it rolled over hard, formed a wedge. That wedge has been broken. Looking for 24 and 3/4 thereabout, maybe 25 short term. Beneath that, stock could be in the low to mid 20s. Low 20s, excuse me. DLB, Dolby Laboratories, back on the list. We had that stock pegged in January. Came down so hard down here, and took it off the list. It snapped right back to resistance there. Failed and rolled over. Retesting the lows, as a matter of fact, took it out today and closed near the lows at down $1.34. Looks like the channel bottom right now around 39, maybe tested short term. Akamai, a little out of sequence here. AKAM, after forming this wedge in the May period, has rolled over the last couple of days down another 98 cents today, and perhaps maybe headed for the bottom of the channel around 28, my next target. CYD, recent short sale recommendation of ours, after it came down very hard from 33 to 19, bounced back to 22 and a half, but that was about it. Could not get back through the gap and has been rolling back over. 82-cent loss today. Look, I could see the stock at 17, 17 and a half short term. 3D Systems, after forming a top, breaking down, and then trying to consolidate last month, is beginning to roll over. Watch this downtrend line right here. In my opinion, if we do not get a thrust to the upside, the stock could roll over, take out 17, and then roll right down to that 14 zone, my trading target on this for 3D. DGI had an update today, up 60 cents, but still remains in the confines of this pattern. We'll see if it breaks to the upside, but even if it does, I doubt it gets past 26 and a half. And I also think that on an intermediate term basis, we could see the stock come down as low as 22, maybe 21 and a half. Dawson, DWSN, broke down hard in early May, slipped for the rest of the month until the end of the month when it rallied back to resistance. Lateral price resistance, declining top resistance, and moving average resistance. That turned it back, and you can see it's falling back down 52 cents today. Trading target around 27, half short term, maybe 28. Forest Oil in the downtrend, distinct. Broke key support here, bear flagged, broke down, but didn't follow through and bounced back again, but has rolled over once again. And now it's coming up to its rising bottoms line and the channel bottom. So maybe some support in this area, but should it break, I can see the stock in the low to mid 20s. ITRA in key break mode here. This long 2-year support level was just broken this week, right here. And a move below this low, below say 49.40 or so, we could see the stock start to cascade lower and quickly, with an ultimate target down around 41, 42. KRA, Kraton Performance, big uptrend has been broken, and now a big wedge is forming. If terrible technicals, and if this starts to roll over here, even though it was up 74 cents today, the 40 and a quarter area is resistance right about here, and you can keep that as a stopping point, but should it roll over, I can see the stock down towards the 30-31 zone, maybe even as low as 29 and a half. Lamar, advertising firm, looking ugly as it cracked here, formed a wedge, cracked again, formed a consolidation, and broke down, particularly today when it dropped 83 cents and took out this lateral support line. The bottom of the channel shows the possibilities we can see a stock around 24.5, 25. LFT's been suspended for a couple of 3 weeks now, and it looks like when it opens, it may be a $5 or $10 stock. LXK, still in a very ugly downtrend. We're near support, but we just took out this lateral price support over the last couple sessions. And should the bottom of the channel break, this could quickly cascade lower down towards the, let's call it 23, 24 zone. Northern Oil and Gas. This thing down channel. Notice the consolidation before last week began to break down at the end of last week and followed through down 54 more cents to get to our target around 17 today. Any further downside, this stock could be a $13, $14 stock. NuStar Energy, topping pattern, sharp breakdown, snap back to resistance and the trend line, and a rising wedge. Started to roll over last week, and today dropped to $1.09, and could very well easily quickly retest that 59 range at the low of May, and a takeout of that level would call for potentially a sharp down channel that could take this down somewhere around at least 58, 57.5. Next, NXTage Medical, NXTM, massive topping formation, broke down, snapped back to it, failed, and began to roll over. Secondary support being tested at 17.5 here, but ultimately, if this breaks, we're looking at a $14.5 stock. Oshkosh, the truck and vehicle firm, broke down hard at the end of April, formed a wedge, broke down from that, snapped back to resistance, and has broken down again. Looking for a test of 24 short term. Pioneer Southwest Energy, stock that ran up sharply in the last couple of years from the 10 range up to the mid 30s. Rolled over hard and dropped down into the high 20s before bouncing. Back here, failed right at resistance and rolled over. And further downside damage, we can see the stock at 24, my target on this. Quest Software, topping pattern broken hard, and now consolidation, that may be breaking down. We get below the 20, 20.5 range, I can see the stock at 18.5, maybe 17.5. Rockwell Automation are okay. Nasty topping pattern. Sharp break here. Stair step lower. Little wedge here. Now a larger wedge is formed. Notice we're at the bottom of that, and if we break right here, we can see it sharply lower. Wouldn't shock me to see the stock in the low 70s. There is some resistance support, I should say, around 76. Chinese stocks are acting weaker and weaker, particularly large caps are now falling apart as Sina dropped from 117 to 107 and change before bouncing slightly, still down 221 on a day with a big reversal day. Notice today's high right at the moving averages. Strong downside volume of 12 million shares. I'm looking for a stock that ultimately could get down towards the low 90s, maybe $90. Even high 80s wouldn't surprise me. SSYS, very negative looking pattern. Long rising channel, and finally a crack, which came at the end of April, beginning of May, a little wedge formed. That broke. Now another little flag. That may break. Key support around 31. That's my next target. If that breaks, high 20s would be doable. Tech data. Nice rising channel. Big gap to the downside. That broke everything. It then bounced here for 3 days near support, and now it's rolling over. At this point, it looks likely we may see a test of that level around 42, and beneath that, something in the high 30s. Trimble navigation, another rising channel broken sharply. Snapback fails at resistance. Wedge forms. Looks like that may be cracking. I'd look for a move down towards 35 in this one. USANA Health Sciences, big crack in February. Large coiling type pattern, bear coil, but it broke to the upside, I believe, on earnings, and then failed right at the neckline of that pattern. Rolled over hard, very hard, dropping from 37 down to the high 20s, formed a wedge, and now that's broken to the downside. You step back and look at USANA, Looks likely we may see a test at 24, 4.5. That's my short-term target. Secondary target to test the major double bottom in 08 and 09 down around 18.5. Vera Bradley, big break this last few days. I'm not surprised it bounced today, only because it's still oversold short-term. Look for a rally back towards 43 as a shorting opportunity if it gets there. 42, 43 zone. Downside targets, if it takes out the 39 zone, it's down around the 30, get a gap here around 35 and then 32. And lastly, WMS. Williams Industries has been on my list for months now. Cracked in January, formed a little bear wedge here. The actual topping pattern was right there. Little head and shoulders perhaps. Broke down, bear wedge, another sharp move lower, tested support and bounced around. Cracked hard, rising wedge right to the moving average and lateral price resistance, and then it's been rolling over. If it takes out these lows, I'm looking for a quick test of the long-term rising channel bottom at around 27.5, 28. And that's it for the short ideas. It's a lot more out there, but these are some of the ones I like the best. Bye-bye.